Hi, my name is Aiden. I'm going to be talking about the current event slide for this presentation as well. Um, so the first thing I want to talk about is the activists in Canada who are supporting the SAFE Act, and they were holding vigils in November 2025. It's pretty recent. It was just a couple weeks ago. The SAFE Act is a federal bill designed to permanently prohibit the slaughter of equines, like horses, and it's meant to do that so that way we stop consuming them in the United States. The bill, it hasn't been passed all the way yet, but there are many supporters behind it. It would expand our protection of like how existing dog and cat meat prohibition. So the way that we can't eat dogs and cats, the bill would work so that way the protection from them goes the same way to horses. So that way we can't eat horses anymore. If that bill gets passed, then it's 100% illegal to have a slaughterhouse that is meant for horses, and we also couldn't export horses either that are meant for slaughter. So that means we wouldn't be sending horses to Canada or Mexico anymore if the intent behind it was to get slaughtered. 200 veterinarians have signed to Congress talking about horse slaughter. So the 200 veterinarians, they've mentioned the SAFE Act and how they want it to get passed. Um, it will happen in December 2022 when 200 veterinarians got together to sign that letter, and they wanted to permanently ban the slaughter of American horses if the intent was for human consumption. They noted how many horses were getting injured during the export from Canada, or I'm sorry, from the United States to Canada to Mexico, how much bruising and psychological stress these horses were going through all of this time. So if we ended the export by passing the SAFE Act, then the horses wouldn't be going through any of that anymore. We've also increased public awareness for this. A lot of famous people and just companies have got together to create what is called the Lost Horses campaign. It's a public awareness act in creating a national advocacy for ending the export and slaughter of American horses. Um, it basically talks about how many of these horses are old, broken, and useless animals and forgotten, but we need to show how were once beloved companions and they worked alongside humans. And many people have forgotten about that. So it's basically pointing to the fact that horses are still important to our lives, even if they aren't serving the use they were as before, like as a younger prime self, and they still have a soul that they need to live with. And slaughtering them isn't the right way to uh, move them along through life. And then on May 27th, 2024, a bipartisan group of 120 lawmakers led by Vern Buchanan and then John uh, Skakowski, uh, they got together to in the in the U.S. House of Representatives to send a letter to the U.S. House of Subcommittee on Agriculture, and they basically talked about how they wanted to create a bill that would permanently end tax money that would support horse slaughterhouses. So there was taxpayers that were helping horse slaughterhouses run, and they wanted to end that completely, abolish it. So that way, these horse slaughters weren't going to be um, government funded anymore. So that way, they had to just rely on money from elsewhere. So they weren't going to be running anymore. That was the whole point of the group. So all of these measures have excelled in keeping horse slaughter at bay. Not only are both Republican and Democratic parties agreeing on these movements, but they are also working together on eliminating the export of horses for meat consumption, as well as ending slaughterhouses here in the U.S. So that means not only do they want to end slaughter here in the United States, but they wanted to end in Mexico and Canada, and they're working on that by eliminating exporting horses for that purpose.